Hi, everybody. My name is Juan Cangas, and I am the camp director for the summer programs that the Migrant Education Program is putting on this summer. The video specifically in regards to those students that are attending the summer camp at North Platte. And so, if your son or daughter is coming out to North Platte, this is the right video for you. So I will personally be there at that camp, but I'm not going to be the only one. We're going to have some other camp facilitators that are going to be part of that camp. And so I want to introduce you to them, at least in picture. So during that camp, I will be there myself, having teaching certificates from University of Nebraska-Kearney, and I got the privilege of graduating from University of Nebraska-Lincoln with a psychology degree. I've had the privilege of working with young people for 15 years, and I still love it. Another facilitator is going to be there. His name is Mr. Timon Garoon, who's got a bachelor's from the University of Nebraska-Omaha, and he majored in communication. For our female staff members, we're going to have Cecilia Perales. She is actually a middle school teacher in Lexington, Nebraska, and has her master's degree in Spanish education. And then one of our other female facilitators is going to be Talisa Ramos, and she is the licensed social worker and has a master's in social work. So this is going to be the team that's going to be working with your son or daughter. Now, here's something important to note. When your son or daughter comes to the camp, they are going to be checking in, and they're going to be going into put their things in their dorm rooms. Now, we're going to be having two separate buildings for each one of the genders, right? So if for all the males, they're going to be in one building, and they're going to have their dorms there, and then the females are going to have their dorm building in another, or they're building in another dorm. Their dorm in another building. Oh my goodness, if I could talk. And the great thing is that we are going to be staying in that same floor. The facilitators are. And so if your son or daughter have any questions, they're going to know which dorm we're in, so they can come in the middle of the night, if there's an emergency or something like that. Now, talking about emergencies, hopefully we hope that there's none during this camp. However, we are prepared. So all of our facilitators are CPR and first aid certified, meaning that we know the basics of how to take care of any minor emergency. However, if there's something major or bigger that goes on, we will take the appropriate steps, And if it comes to calling 911 or taking your son or daughter to the emergency room, we're going to take those actions. However, you should know that we're going to contact you right away. Okay, so whatever happens, minor or major, we're going to connect with you directly as soon as we can to make sure that you are making the best choices for your son or daughter and medically. So let's hope that it doesn't come to that. However, we do have some plans in place. So this camp that your son or daughter is a part of, what is it all about? The camp is called the Career Camp, okay? And our hopes is that your son or daughter are going to get a chance to explore different careers and explore a little bit more about themselves, right? And what they like about those career paths. And so as part of that, we're going to have different workshops, activities. They're going to get to really think about, hey, what is it that I want to do for my future? And our hopes is that they would leave there with some ideas of like, ooh, maybe I want to follow this path, and this is the steps that I need to take to get there, okay? One thing I forgot to mention as far as the dorms, we're going to be staying at the college campus, and it's going to be some really nice dorms. It's actually some apartment-style dorms. And I'm going to show you a little video of what it's going to look like. And one of the reasons we're having it on a college campus is because we want your son or daughter to start thinking about, hey, maybe college is an option for me in the future. And we want them to get a feel for what it would feel like to be a college student. So here's a little video of the dorms that they will be staying at. All right, as you could see, the dorms are going to have a nice little living area. There'll also be a kitchen. Your son or daughter can bring things to put in the refrigerator, or if they want to like have something that they can need to heat up in the microwave, that's totally fine. However, we ask that they don't bring anything that they have to cook, because there will be no cooking utensils, or or any kind of like pans to be able to cook anything. Okay, and plus we don't really want them using the stove. They each dorm is also going to have two rooms, and in each room there's going to be two beds. So your son or daughter will be rooming with someone of the same gender in their room. Okay. Um, so as part of this career camp, we're hoping that the students are going to walk away with certain things. And in the past, when we've had this camp, we've asked students some questions before and after their experience to see what they've learned. And as you can see here, these students have noticed some things that they've learned. So asked them a question beforehand in a pre-survey, and then afterwards. And the pre-survey is in light blue, and the post-survey is in darker blue. So, for example, we might ask them this question: I know some steps I can take to explore a career, and the students were able to grow in that and identify more steps that they could take after the camp that they did before. Another one might be like, I know what is most important to me in, this should say, in a career, okay? Uh, and their self-awareness, okay? They've increased that too. So that's what we'd like to see, right? Is that the students are actually growing in some of the material that we're sharing with them. And so that's good to see during this camp, and we're hoping to see it during the camp we're going to host for your students. During this camp, there's going to be 32 different students that are going to be attending. From all over. We have students from Kearney coming, Lexington, the North Platte area, McCook, up north by Valentine. And so we're excited for students to get to know each other, to learn, to build new friendships. Every summer camp, we see students building these new friendships and staying connected afterwards. Here's kind of a little bit of an example of what a day would look like, a typical day would look like for during the camp. So students would arrive camp. We have lunch at 12 o'clock. And then 1 o'clock we kick off our welcome and our activity, and then throughout it we're hosting different workshops that are focused on career readiness, helping students discover a future pathway. And the great thing to note here is that from the moment they get to us to the 10 o'clock p.m. when it's lights out in their bedroom, we're doing something with them, right? So we're very intentional about utilizing all our time. There's never a time when your son or daughter is just going to be hanging out, and there'll never be a time when they're just going to be wandering by themselves. Okay. That won't exist during the camp. We will have intentional time with them, even in the evening when we have some fun things planned for them. There'll always be a staff member, and there'll be some kind of programming going on for your students to participate in. Now, moving on, you should have received this letter from your service provider. If you have not, please reach out to them or reach out to me, and I will send you this. It's really important because it details everything you need to know about the camp as far as the logistics of it, okay? So just to remind you, Thursday, July 17th is the first day of the camp. The check-in is going to be 10:30 to 11:30. So depending on the transportation arrangements that you've made with your staff member, one of two things will be true. Either you will be driving your son or daughter to North Platte, community college campus, and if that's the case, then this letter you should have received exact map, destination, location of where you need to drop off your son or daughter. But many of you, your migrant education program service provider, they've already reached out to you and they let you know that they're going to be transporting your son or daughter. Okay, in that case, they will be reaching out again, letting you know the exact time, the range that they're going to be picking up your son or daughter. Okay, if they don't reach out by Tuesday, please reach out to them to make sure that you get that information. And if for some reason they are not picking up or responding, please reach out to me and I will make sure that we get that information to you before this date so you are aware. Now, when they get dropped off, we'll go through the camp, and then the last day will be Friday, July 18th. The camp will be over by 5 p.m. and your students will be able to be picked up. So again, if you're picking up 5 p.m. is the time. You can arrive there maybe a little earlier, right? But by 5, they will be ready to roll. And then this is the address that you will need to pick them up at the dorms. Now, here's some things that you need to bring, okay, or your student needs to bring. One change of regular clothes. We're basically just staying there one night, so something to wear the next day. And then one change of clothes to play for sports, because we're going to be going outside sometimes and playing volleyball or soccer, especially on the first day. And then something I did not put on here, but a student reminded me at a meeting, is pajamas. So putting on some pajamas or extra shorts to sleep in, or some kind of clothing to sleep in, right? Toiletries, toothbrush, toothpaste, deodorant, soap, shampoo, feminine products. There will be no shampoo or soap in the dorms, so you'll have to bring that for your son or daughter. And then this is very important, okay? This college does not provide bed sheets, blankets, pillows, and towels. So we need you to bring those specifically for a bed sheet and blanket for twin beds sets. However, if whatever you have, bed sheet or blanket, we can make it work. Any personal medications that your son or daughter needs to take, if you need us to administer that, please send a note. Let us know beforehand, first and foremost, and then send a note giving us permission to be able to administer that medication. And then this is not a must, but a nice to have, is $20 of spending money. Sometimes there's a lot of vending machines on campus, and students, want a snack, and so they buy something from the vending machines. But again, it's not necessarily, because we will be covering all meals. So from the moment your son or daughter get there, we will have them have lunch, then we'll have dinner, and then the next day breakfast and lunch, and then all educational supplies, pens, pencils, notebooks, all those things will be covered by us for the educational programming. Lastly, this is my information. Juan Cangas right here. It's my cell phone. Any further questions you have between now and then, or the day, or even during the camp, right? If for some reason you cannot get a hold of your son or daughter, they should be able to, because they will have their phone on them. We will not take that away. But however, for some reason you need to get in contact with me during the camp or before, this is my number. If you want to reach out to one of our female facilitators, Cecilia is the contact, and this is her number. That is about it as far as the information that I have for, specifically for the camp. We're excited to have your son or daughter be part of it. I always love doing this. We've been doing this for 15 years here in Nebraska. And every time students really enjoy connecting with each other, learning some new things that could be helpful towards them, especially when it comes to thinking about what they want to do with their future. And so I can't wait to meet your son or daughter, and just connect with them and build a relationship and help them on their journey, to future success. So if there's any questions you have, please reach out. Otherwise, we will see your son or daughter in almost 2 weeks from now, as we embark on a fun journey together. Okay. Until then, thank you very much.